Welcome to Hanging Out with Robert, that's me. This video contains things that I encounter throughout the day. If for some reason I complete a task and you would like to see the details, you can click on the link in the description area below. This video also contains tips and tricks that I learned throughout the years. I plan on leaving this video accessible for about 30 days. After that, you can view it through my Patreon account. Thank you very much for watching. What's happening, party people? Yes, I did it. I came up here to the Washington area, close to Seattle, and bought this yellow T-5R wagon. When I made and posted that video back a few weeks ago, telling y'all it was available and I wasn't going to buy it, I couldn't afford it. The very next day, I got the funds to be able to buy this car. So I contacted the guy, pulled the trigger between him and his daughter, and here it is. Man, it's rough. Now I gotta grab together and scrape together the funds to get this thing restored, because it might take a little while. Everybody say they love a car that is all original. Sad to say, this car is all original. Original shocks, original brake calipers. Some of the paint is not original. You see this front fender, how light that is? Probably original. You see this door and that door, how dark that is? Not original. This rear end area, likely original. Most of that roof, probably original. Back end, original. This part is not original. That front fender may have been, but back in here some of this has been redone, and this here has clear coat on it. Some of this is not original. This has been removed and not put back on properly, so I'm gonna have to remove that, put that back on properly. But let's go ahead and do a walk around so you can see the challenges I have before me. That, you know, they're no big deal. They're just stuff that need to be tidied up to make this car look like new again. I'm gonna try to get it up to Queen Bee or better status. So the first thing you notice is the wheels. Let me tell you something. They look a lot worse when they're dry. It's been raining out here, as it does in the Seattle area, so they look better. I got a corner light destroyed, headlight destroyed. Once these lenses get cracked, you've got to seal them or they're going to destroy the reflector behind them. You see how dim and gray that is behind there? When you come over to the other light, it's pretty bright and reflective. This is by no means a new light. Both of them are probably original, but the lens is not cracked on this one. The glass one has protected that reflective stuff in the back. I can see some dirt particles down in there, but this assembly, this headlight assembly, will reflect light onto the road. That one will not. Kind of rare for the 850, very common for the SV70. Another thing that's very common, and I'm surprised this one is not in worse shape, these lower bumper lips gets cracked. That's a crack right there that I'm going to fix somehow, or have fixed. And it looks in pretty decent shape other than that. So it hasn't been beat up a lot. Now I don't know if the fog lights work yet. I haven't checked it. But the bumper's in decent shape. Yeah, a couple scrapes here and there, which is common. Somebody rubbed against a wall or a pole there. Somebody scraped it here. But that part comes apart from the lower part, and that can be fixed. Now, somewhere along the road, somebody let this hood fly open. It either flew open while they were driving, they stopped it in time, or they opened it, didn't realize it was open, and opened a garage door or something on it, because both of these corners are damaged. They're not flat, level, straight. You see that wave in them? That corner and that one over there is damaged. And when you open up the hood, the hinge is damaged, and if you look in there, this hinge is rubbing against this fender. So that needs to be taken care of. Now the wiper blades, you know, common wear and tear on wiper blades. Got to replace that, especially you gonna be driving in the rain. Oh, we found something that's not original. This windshield. My guess is when this hood flew open, it busted the windshield, or they just got tired of an old rusty windshield. Now, from my understanding, the original owners of this car was probably in their mid-50s when they bought it. They went to Sweden, picked out the build on it, which doesn't change much. They drove it around Europe for 30 days. Then it was imported, I believe, for free, and they had it brought here. So I imagine this may make those import numbers, not 100% sure, but this car was actually purchased in Sweden, brought to the US. Thus, these corner marker lights. I think these are actually original. You can see they look old. They got a little water in them, maybe a crack or two in them. Those are original from the factory, European style. Hadn't been hacked in like most of them have. These wheels are Titans. I've gotten several questions about that in one day. These are the original wheels that came on the 850 T-5Rs. Some people didn't like the way they bent when hitting them northeastern potholes, probably all them New Jersey folks and Cincinnati folks. So a lot of people traded those in within a certain amount of time and replaced them with other kind of wheels. But these are the wheels that came by design on the T-5R. They're 17-inch Titans. And you can see this one's a little dry. But man, the outside of the car, it's got a wear and tear for a 26-year-old car. That could be expected. And it still has the motorsport badge. Those emblems can still be purchased. I will probably purchase new emblems. And I have fresh tail lights. And, not too bad. The exhaust tip is rotting away on that thing. So I'll probably find another one of those or replace the exhaust with something that sounds more sporty. Now, the trim here, normal wear and tear on that thing. The sunroof, I do not see any rust in the seal. So that's a good thing. The mirror, a little scraped up, but my plan for the exterior is to strip it down the best I can. Hopefully find a good straight hood for it. Like I said, this corner has been up as well. And get this thing repainted. With, whatever the body shop feels is the best thing to paint it with. So that's the lion's share of the exterior. Let's go ahead and check the mileage and see what's going on with the mileage, because I think the cluster reads 91,000 and some change. I opened the hood and it did not pause at the standard opening angle. It went straight to tried to go to the full open angle, but it stopped. As you can see, this hinge here has a little bend in it. This thing is riding on there. Let's go ahead and see how much more it opens when it's actually released properly with these little latches here. So you bring the hood down a little bit, you flip these things down on both sides, and you let the hood open the rest of the way up. Whoa! That was scary. The other side didn't need opening, and that hood is opening 5 degrees further than it should be. So anyway, I'm glad that thing didn't fall back on the windshield. That would have been a mess. But I think this suspension is all original. Spring seats, stuff like that. Somebody has done the fix on the mass airflow sensor wiring. That will probably need to be replaced. This is a trickle charger that somebody wired into the car. It's in the way of the battery, so the battery's not properly installed. The battery slid over and there's no battery clip there. No big deal. The wiring harness for something under there is dislocated, probably that wiper there. So it's got a trickle charger built in. There's some kind of other ground wire there, maybe for this trickle charger. The coil wire has been disturbed, but these wires are original. So I need to find a fresh set of wires. Actually, I met Jonathan yesterday and he sold me a few parts to get on the road safely with this thing. Looks like that throttle cable may have been replaced at some time, not sure. That bushing there has definitely been replaced sometime. Those things just don't last 25 years. And let's go ahead and check the mileage on it. Now, somebody broke the ECU box, so it will not hold this tester box properly. But I'm gonna set it there, put the jump wire in, and let's check the mileage. But as you can see, the engine compartment is not in horrible shape, and the spring seats are still intact. This car, I understand, spent a lot of its life on, I think it's the San Juan Island off of Washington, a little bit north of Seattle. So most of its life it's probably been driven a maximum of 35 miles an hour, which is, man, to me not good, because you buy one of these cars that's been babied and not driven hard, and you start driving them hard, you'll burn a valve in a couple weeks because of the carbon buildup and stuff in there. It was about a quart low on oil when I got to it, so they was kind enough to give me some oil. Looks like that vacuum line there is done with. Going over to, man, where's that going to? This valve here in the purge valve system. So I got a few lines need to be replaced. Man, that thing is flat, sucked, closed. That thing is closed off. So I don't know if that's working. I do have a check engine light I'm going to check. That may have something to do with that. The coolant bottle, the cap on it was destroyed. I'll show you that. It was totally split. Jonathan had a spare one that he was able to let me get off of him. The sensor in the bottom is not working, so the low coolant light is on. To me, that's the most dangerous key in playing coolant roulette. If the light's on, you don't know if you lose coolant. You just find out when the engine overheats. And the temperature gauge is reading high on this car while I'm driving. So I'm gonna hook up my scan gauge today and to see if that temperature is actually in the normal range and the gauge is just needled high, or if it's actually running a little hot, I might have to change the thermostat. I'll find out my next drive here. So the ECU box has been tampered with for some reason, but it still has the T-5R computer in it and the automatic transmission computer. I'm not sure why that is not locked in right, but we'll deal with that later. It's close. I think it's locked in, but this one wasn't. And somebody lost a tube off of there. No big deal, just little petty stuff. So this was not latching right because the box is bent. I'm not sure why the box is bent. Maybe somebody had it wedged in a improper position for a while. We'll see later on. Tried to get it latched back in, but it's close, not latching. But it is bent out. Gotta get this front in. Anyway, let me put this jump wire in, check mileage real quick. My door locking pin here is sitting low. Not sure why. It should be sitting up high like that. Maybe it's screwed down too far or something, but when it's locked, it goes all the way down flush. Not sure if somebody did that on purpose or not, but let me turn the ignition on. Looks like all the lights work in here, but the odometer is not counting, and I've driven about 51 miles so far since I bought the car. So let's check mileage, see what it actually has on it. It shouldn't have much more than what it has. I think the guy that delivered it to me thought it had about 119,000. So I got this hooked up. Let's punch it out, see if this gives us the mileage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. 1, 2. 100,000. Zero. 8. 108,000. Now let's go ahead and check the back mileage on it. Push it 5 times. 1 time. 1 time. And then 1 more time. Now it should blink us out the rest of the mileage. Five. 8. 8. So 108,588 is the miles that it actually has right now. I'm going to reset the trip computer, and if I don't have to disconnect the battery, we'll be able to track mileage. And not, we'll just recheck it when I get it back to Albuquerque. So that's the mileage on it. Let me go ahead and shut this off and see what else we can check out on here. It's got a check engine light I'm gonna scan, so I'm not really gonna worry about that. Probably something EGR related. Does have a little oil buildup. You know, the engine's probably not been cleaned. All of these hoses look original, need to be replaced, so we'll do that. Hopefully we won't have to do it on the side of the road somewhere. And hey, it is what it is. It's looking fair. And let me go ahead and store that back, put it where it belongs, and close down this hood. Now that strut bearing on the other side, on the driver's side, is definitely destroyed. Makes a lot of noise when I'm turning. The driver's side CV axle is in real bad shape, vibrating and clicking and stuff. And I think I already showed you the wiper blades. So let me go ahead and close the hood and show you some of the inside. The oil level appears to be good after driving 50 miles yesterday. That's good. There's something laying down there, some kind of zip tie. Ooh, come up here, little fella. Ooh, so that's spare. Somebody's got this wire harness here zip tied. The leash that was on this cap fell off. That's down there. The serpentine belt looks okay. I'll check the timing belt later, but it does not look like it's have any cracks in it, so that's good. But I have no history of a timing belt having been replaced, although I believe that, I'm sure that they have had it done. But I'm gonna pull the cover later, make sure the belt's intact, doesn't have any signs of deterioration. I just can't imagine that a person of mature age would not get that service done when it was due. For the inside, sad to say, this car smells like vomit. Somebody's had some kind of air freshener in here to try to mask it a little bit. Now the carpet was wet, the guy told me when he got it. Tried to clean it up for me, get it ready for me to pick up. It was sitting somewhere, so it's seeping water somewhere, and it hadn't been dried out with the air conditioner. As you can see, the seat skins are in need of replacement. Alex has those, so we'll get those from there. The armrest is wore out, so we gotta find somebody or get the Alcantara that I have and get that redone with some Alcantara. That seat looks like somebody that may be a little bit heavy kind of wore that seat out. That seat will need to be replaced with a new cushion. I might have one back at the house. The dash appears to be in excellent shape. Really rare for these cars. This stuff here is starting to try to lift up and split, but it's still intact, so that's good. Not sure if the AC works. I'll find out. So for some reason the vents are closed, you know, so somebody had the vents closed. The dash pad, as you can see, is worn out. The piece that goes across the front of the dash only has one crack in it, but the total dash feels solid. Now the door check straps are destroyed on this car. They're popping almost every one of them. That one has no resistance at all. Door just flaps around. And somebody's been spraying touch-up paint, I guess trying to prevent rust here and there They sure weren't trying to prevent no rust on the plastic bumper, so I'm not sure what that's about. But they got a couple spots on the car that's been touched up. Door gaskets coming off. They need to be retaped in place. And the seat recliners do not work. You can hear them, but seat's not moving. Needs to be redone. I'm going to try to redo those here in about an hour. I'm going to run, get a couple of parts, get the supplies to fix both seat recliners and take care of that. The steering wheel is proper with the Alcantara on the bottom, but that Alcantara is totally worn out and matted down. The door panels seem to be in decent shape. A couple scars from people closing the doors on the door panels. That's a common thing with these cars. And let's see what's going on in the back here. I did see the floor mats in the back. I'm not sure if all of them are proper, but oh, here's that cap that was on that radiator. Look how split that thing was. And I don't know how it was holding the coolant in there, but it was. It was tight enough on there to do that. See that movement in that thing from it being cracked? So you got to replace those things as soon as you can. Door pocket deal was busted there. That door panel was barely scarred. Little cap missing from there. Doors seem in pretty good shape. Had a hard time getting the net to reel back in, but it reeled back in. The back seats are in fair condition. Nothing spectacular. The headliner is sagging, needs to be replaced. That headrest back there looks a little cruddy. But the door lifts work in the back. This rear hatch door lift, that thing works. This is this T-5R yellow bumper that Jonathan was kind enough to sell me. Man, that is freaking incredible. Finding one that's not destroyed. Man, you grab any one that's in decent shape. This thing needs to have clips put in it so that could be in place. The tape is not proper. This thing is cracked, and it used to have a rear cargo cover that clipped in here. That's gone, and I didn't notice, but this panel here is busted. So I'll need to get another panel for here. And it's got the cargo mat. I really need to find a tow hitch for this thing, because I'm going to need to tow a trailer back from Albuquerque to Cincinnati. And I need to get some roof rails and put a roof rail on the top of this thing. This panel here seems to be in good shape, which is surprising. Those are normally busted up, but hey, they took decent care of that. Little bit of pet hair back here from something, but it's, you know, not bad shape back here. Couple little piece of trim. Of course, I think I showed you the tail lights totally deteriorated on this thing. I got a set of those at home, so I can't justify spending money for no more till I get the ones installed at home. But it's got the door rails. Got some service records in here. The car was called Daisy. Nice name. Somebody was putting professional parts on there, which is not my preferred parts. Let's see if this floor is dry yet. This floor is relatively dry now. He said it was wet. He dried it up the best he could yesterday, the day before. So that's good. And seats can be cleaned up. We don't have rear seat skins, so you need to take care of these until rear seat skin come available. If these front seat skins sell good, we might end up with some rear ones. But that's pretty much it on the inside. The car has a constant low coolant light, and like I said, the temperature runs on the high side. So let me go ahead and scan it for codes and go from there. Fires rate up, check engine light, service light, low coolant light. So here we are. Voltage is a little low, but not bad. Going to do a scan, one code. P730. My memory served me correct. It's got something to do with the transmission, and this transmission is shifting hard. So that may be a bad sign, but these cars don't usually leave you stranded when the transmission fails. So I'm not going to be too worried about that, but I am going to give it a transmission flush. And I might hook up my Volvo scanner, since I do have that with me here in Seattle, and see what code it gives me. I'm going to clear it, see if it comes back anytime soon. It says the code is clear, but it is clearly still up there. Scan again. Now I get 3 codes. Lovely. A 444, which is evac, which could be that collapse. A 400 evac, and a 130. I think the 130 is maybe a O2 sensor. So let's see if we could clear those. Alright, we got those cleared and the lights out, so we'll see if they come back. Let me go ahead and get back to business. I'm gonna watch this temp as I drive to my destination. But that's where we're at. I have named this car Lemonade. Had a situation happen in the family a few weeks ago. Bad situation, not detrimental, but it's just kind of a bad situation. And me and my son-in-law was talking about it, and he's like, man, that's really rough. I said, hey, don't worry about it. When life gives you lemons, time to make some lemonade. If you feel that this information was useful, please like it and share it with your social media friends. You can subscribe to my channel so that you will get notifications of future videos that I post. You can follow me on Twitter, and if you need to contact me directly, please visit my website. And if you have any questions, leave them below, and someone or myself will reply to them. Again, thank you very much for watching.